So I'm Nick Mack. I'm 31 years old. I'm originally from Long Island, New York. I mean, I had a lot of opportunities afforded to me
Yeah.
um, from being where I'm from, and it was just kind of the normal childhood, normal
Yeah.
upbringing thing. So I'd always experimented when I was 13 or 14 years old. Like started drinking and started smoking marijuana and things like that. Um, and looking back, I should have seen the red flags now because I wasn't drinking like my friends were. They were kind of experimenting. I was drinking to get sick. I was drinking
Yeah.
to black out. I was drinking to numb myself
Mhm.
from everything around me. I don't care whether it's physical pain or emotional pain. Addiction and alcoholism for me um, is something that, it's caused by pain and fear. And those are the two driving forces of addiction for sure. For me, anyway,
Yeah.
everybody's story is different. But yeah, so 13, 14 experimenting. And then when I was 16, I was actually an amateur boxer and I was training for the Golden Gloves. I was moving my way up and I was training for the Golden Gloves tournament, big tournament in New York. It's actually a big tournament nationwide.
Yeah. I've actually heard of it. So that's
Yeah,
impressive. Yeah.
yeah. So I was sparring, getting ready, and I absolutely shattered my thumb and my right hand, and I tore ligaments. And they told me it'd be at least 2 years before I ever stepped foot in a ring again.
Mhm.
Um, so when that happened, boxing was my outlet from everything. So when that happened, the drinking and the marijuana use and even the harder drugs, that's when it just took over my life because I was so depressed that this thing I was working towards, what felt like at the time my whole life,
Yeah.
just kind of ripped away from me on a freak accident kind of thing. So I played the victim card, like why me,
Yeah.
why me, and I took the drinking and the marijuana use to the next level where I was going to school drunk, going to school high, not going to school because I'd go out and get drunk.
Yeah.
Then I found cocaine, and cocaine was my ultimate pitfall. It was what took over my life, and I managed to graduate high school and to get into a college in Boston, Massachusetts. But I didn't make it through my second year of college before I was getting arrested and getting kicked out of school. Um,
No.
I was attacked the year I graduated high school. I was
Hmm.
assaulted, and I never told anybody. I actually didn't tell anybody up until a year ago about it. Um, so that's just going back 13 years.
Yeah.
And so the pain of that, I always carried
Keeping
that
that
with me.
inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and not letting anyone know what the truth was.
Hmm.
Um, so there was an internal struggle that no one from the outside would see. I was very good at masking, or I thought I was,
Yeah.
disguising things and things like that. So from there, I was just a party animal, and um, it's a deep, dark place where it goes from fun to obsession.
Yeah.
Um, and that dark place took me to places. Again, I know the difference between right and wrong. I know that I know that certain things you don't do. I
Yeah.
had no problem doing those things like stealing, lying, cheating, whatever the case may be, hurting people, um, because I didn't care about anything else but finding the next one,
The
finding the
next.
next
I.
high.
Yeah.
Um, so again, this all goes back to cocaine, by the way. Um, it took a hold of me. Every cent I earned at where I worked for my dad, and every cent I earned went to my drug use.
Yeah.
To the point where I was just a skinny shell of myself, and no one wanted anything to do with me. So I got arrested at school for possession. And after that, I knew the jig was up for college. So after that, it was off to the races. It didn't really matter what it was. Again, connecting with Darren here, it didn't matter what
Yeah.
it was. If it was put in front of my face, I was going to do it. So then when I got kicked out, I had to tell my parents that, I'm not going to college anymore. They kicked me out for academic reasons, trouble reasons, whatever the case may be. And that was really hard at the time because my parents didn't really know the extent of what was going on still. They had inklings. They knew I was partying, but they didn't think it was as bad as it really was. to all the parents out there too. let me give you a little advice. Stay tough, stay strict, hold your ground a little bit. Don't enable, because when an addict sees a weakness, they will constantly attack it till they've drained it of all the energy that it has. And that's what I did. I preyed on the weaknesses of everybody around me till they had nothing left, until I had nothing left. And I burnt every bridge in the book. But hold your ground, stay firm. I know as a parent that's easier said than done, you know, because I'm a parent myself now, and I don't know if my kid ever had a problem, then I could just throw him out on the street, right?
Yeah.
But do what you can. I can't tell what other people see. The thing is, my addiction's my addiction, right? My addiction isn't Darren's addiction. Darren's addiction isn't my addiction. We each have our own story that happens to correlate in some areas, but no one else is going to do it except for you. The power and everything else has got to be within you to either avoid it or get out of it. When you're in the middle of it, it's really hard to see. But I guarantee you there will be people there that are trying to point it out to you. But as an addict, from my point of view, I didn't care what anybody said to me. And then there came a point where all these people are trying to help me, let me go seek treatment just to help them out, just to get them off my back. Let me go to rehab. 100% of the time that doesn't work. You have to, if you're in the middle of it right now and really you're in that deep, dark place that you don't see a way out, you need to know that there is that way out, because I was in that place so many times where I didn't want to live, even attempted to take my own life quite a few times. And that's the part I relate to. I mean, I didn't almost overdose, but I tried to intentionally overdose. When I woke up from a suicide attempt, I was in a hospital bed in the psych ward end of the hospital, being constantly watched. It wasn't my drug dealers. It wasn't my friends. It wasn't, or the people I thought were friends. It wasn't my drug associates surrounding the bed. It was my older brother, my uncle, my dad, and my stepmom bawling their eyes out. And that was another reality, like out there. You might think that these people who are selling you these poisons are your friends, or they're looking out for you because they give you a deal, or they throw you a free this every once in a while, or a free that. They're not the ones that are going to be there when you're at your lowest. And so latch on to the people that love you the most and the people that you love the most, because those are the people that are going to save you in the end. And it was just, I mean, it's hard to recognize the signs when you're in the middle of it, is what I'm trying to get at. I didn't immerse myself into the ways that all these other people around me were saying, this is how it works. I didn't believe in it. I didn't buy it. I didn't seek a relationship with a higher power. I didn't do any of that stuff. Because I was still young, first of all. And one reoccurring thought in my mind when I was that young was, man, my life is over. Because that's the addiction speaking too, is like, this is your life. This is your life. And really, I mean, my life beyond addiction is beyond my wildest dreams. It's a saying that's out there in sobriety, but it's true. I'm currently living a life beyond my wildest dreams. And I mean, like, it's just, that's what I want to hear the younger people what I want the younger people to hear, is that when you're finally ready to get out, or just avoid it at all costs, when you're finally ready, there is a light at the end of that tunnel. That's the thing. There's a modern day misconception, and I want to include this too, that if you get away from you used and you get away from all these people, places, and things, that you'll be okay. And that's not true, because no matter where you go, you bring those fears and you bring that pain with you all the time. It doesn't matter. I can outrun people, but I can't outrun my demons. I've wanted to quit and go back and I'm not perfect. I've relapsed over 15 times when I've tried to do this. I currently said I'll have 3 years clean in February. But failure is not the end all be all. Relapse, succeed or you learn. And like, failure is tough. Failure is one of those feelings that goes along with fear and pain. you just sometimes you don't know how to deal with it. And but failure is not, again, failure is not the end all be all. It's not the end of the road. Failure is a learning process that you go through in order to be successful. So I stress that because relapse is a huge part of my story. It's a part of everybody I know that has ever, that has long periods of sobriety, in early sobriety, have had to start over. And it's okay. It's okay to start over. Understand that it does happen. Don't use that as an excuse to relapse.
Yeah.
But if it does happen and you do let yourself go, you're not the only one. You're never alone. You're not alone. When COVID hit again, and this goes for, I'm sure, addicts and alcoholics across the world. What the hell are we going to do for 24 hours a day? We're stuck in our houses. So what I started doing is, I've always had a passion, like a burning, even through my addiction, through everything, through all of this. The one thing besides drugs and alcohol that always helped me escape was sports. And so I started writing my own blog, and I started getting a good reception from it and everything. And I actually, one of the first articles I wrote got retweeted by Jorge Masvidal. He liked it so much, so he tweeted it out, and that got me like a little momentum.
Yeah.
And my buddy Ryan Vernell, and Hamptons Dave and Mr. Cheeks from the iconic hip hop group The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
They had started a radio show, like a shock jock variety comedy show. They saw what I was doing, and they were like, wow, we need this guy. When they saw that, I took it as, all right, I can actually do something with this. Before you know it, like a month into working for them, I did a one-on-one interview with Sugar Ray Leonard. I did a one-on-one interview with Allen Houston. And then I started booking a ton of guests where we were all interviewing the guys on the Ryan Show FM. So I'm living my dream, Madison.
That's
like
incredible.
my first purpose, obviously, is my family, my wife, my kids. They're what get me out of bed every morning.
Yeah.
And then, they keep me out of bed. But what also keeps me out of bed is, working on something I'm so passionate about. I mean, I'm getting recognized, not just for the story of where I've come from to where I am now, like you guys are, and I truly appreciate it. But I'm getting recognized because I'm pretty good at what I do. I'm a writer. I just absolutely admire Darren for what he's doing, because there's a huge stigma behind addiction. I've lost too many friends. I've lost too many loved ones. I've lost too many strangers to the disease of addiction. No one deserves to die alone, addicted. No one deserves that hell.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it happens way too often. And if I can help you guys fight this battle, I will. Darren, thank you for telling your story and kicking me back into a gear that told me I needed to share to help others as well. So even if you haven't gotten the messages, which I'm sure you have, you helped me. So, but such an advocate for what you guys are doing, because it's a foundation like yours that saved my life.